Okay, just the title, Are the Polys Okay? Is making me laugh so hard.
All right.
Are the Polys okay?
Well, I can't speak for all polys, but
Stephen in New York, you're live with Eric and V.
Hey guys, I figured I would get the meme out of the way immediately and just let that one fall where it lay.
Okay.
Eric, wonderful to see you again. Glad that you're feeling better. V and I decided that through our heathen tendencies to telepathically do a ritual for you so you get better, but we'll keep that one. I called a couple weeks ago and tried to contend with V on some political stuff and couldn't do it. V was far too agreeable, and I wanted to lodge a formal complaint.
Yes.
That's fair.
That we couldn't contend with anything. Anyway, so yeah, I figured we'd call because... Go ahead, Eric.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, in the future, you can file complaints about V to our cat, Moko.
Okay, we'll do.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Go ahead.
Anyway, so I just wanted to, talk to you guys about polyamory and the difficulties that we face in a mono world. And the problems I've been facing very recently. I actually just got out of a relationship because of those issues. And sometimes looking at the problems I was having, not, focusing too much on names or anything, that, I'm living in a society that says to me that I should be monogamous. And I don't have those feelings. Like as I say, I don't think love is a commodity that can be, it's not a finite resource for me. No one ever tells me that I should pick one parent or if I had siblings, one sibling that I should love. Why should I feel that way towards people romantically? But at the same time, there are people that I love that have grown up with those ideals. And sometimes I feel like, am I being the selfish ones for trying to make it so that other people are okay with my not normal way of, in this society, not normal way of romance. So I guess that's where we can start.
Yeah. So for people who are in the live chat wondering, what? Polyamory. It is ethical non-monogamy. Recognizing that you can love more than one person, and that you can have consensual, informed, incredibly valuable relationships with more than one person, and that doesn't make you any less. And that is something that I had to deconstruct for years before I ever gave it a try. And by the time I gave it a try, I realized, oh my goodness, I don't know why I waited so long. I think one of the things that really gets me is, and I know this is just us agreeing with each other, and it's probably not great radio, so we probably won't be able to talk for too long. But one of the things that gets me there is this. I think one of the things that got in my way the most was being like, I will be jealous. And that jealousy would hurt the relationship. If I'm with another, if my partner's with another person. Luckily, that hasn't been the case. I've actually been really excited for V in the past. But if that is the case, I was talking to someone, Murray LePage, who also puts out great content. If you haven't checked out Murray, do. Marie told me that if I'm feeling jealous or if I'm feeling insecure, why am I making the other person own my jealousy? And why am I making someone else be responsible for my negative feelings? Isn't that something that I need to figure out what's going on and work through? Because if it is a lack of confidence on my part, I can't have someone else solve my lack of confidence. And that was a watershed moment for me. I don't know. What do you think, B?
Well, New York just passed a law that relationships involving more than two people can have the same legal protections as couples.
Nice.
Which is
Because New York is the most based state in the union. That is true.
It is pretty cool from what I have seen. Yeah, so we are, it feels like, moving in a direction where even if the majority of the population isn't going to, decide to sync Google calendars, right? At least it becomes a viable option and one that is legally protected. Yeah, I think that a lot of the pushback that I have gotten has been from people who consider themselves to be liberal, who consider themselves to be humanist, who consider themselves to have moved away from a lot of the more traditional and oppressive worldviews that maybe they came from or their families are still involved in. And I just generally like to ask, like, why is this something that, like, makes you upset? What about this makes you recoil? And, like, go after that.
Yeah.
Look deeper at that. It's kind of like my life motto. If this thing makes me uncomfortable, that means I need to look at it more closely. So I think that we still have a long way to go. But thanks to people like you who are willing to talk about it, and states like New York that are willing to make it a viable option legally, I think we're moving in the right direction.
Yeah, it really is just conversations like this, being open and talking about it. Stephen, I have no idea whether or not the people in your life are going to be more or less receptive, but hopefully the more people talk about this kind of thing, then the less taboo it becomes. I just, it's interesting. It feels like it's so not talked about that at some point it will be, and it's going to be a hot button issue. But for now,
it's talked about on like, honestly, TikTok is where it's at right now with
Yep.
polyamorous kind of theory and relationship theory and therapy. There's somebody who calls monogamy a kink. I was like, oh, it's fine if you like monogamy, but, like, it's a kink. It's like a power dynamic kink, and it's an ownership kink, and, like,
yeah,
totally down for that. But for you to say that I need to have your kink is very weird. So, like, it makes the, oh, you should only have one partner conversation very different. But again, like, kind of inflammatory.
I really don't know how to make a lot of statements about my TikTok because I am so deeply, like, into I am just cubbied right into neurodivergent, indigenous, poly, atheist TikTok. And in queer TikTok, just all the way across. I don't know.
One of the wildest things I had happen while I was in that last relationship was, in the beginning, they had decided to go out with one of their exes and do some drinking. And while they were doing it, they were texting me like, nothing's going to happen. And then the next day, they called me crying, saying that something did happen. And my first response was, well, did you have fun? And they were absolutely shocked.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like 10 minutes of me explaining, like, I don't care. Like, if you had fun and as long as you were safe, it's whatever. Unfortunately, they weren't able to give me the same leeway. And that's where everything kind of fell apart.
Yeah.
That kind of feels like a red flag to me already, though.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if like what's important is the contract that you make with the other person. And so long as both of you agree to a thing and stick to that thing, then you should be okay. But if that person is deceiving themselves before they even get to the part where they're deceiving you, then if they can't be honest with themselves about what's going to happen and what they want, then it sounds like that person has a lot of work to do on figuring that out, so that they can eventually get to the point that they can communicate that with you, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I'm with somebody now that's a lot more understanding, and in fact, they are also, I think, poly, but they haven't really. They're still trying to figure that out. I guess my main contention in this entire to try to make this a little bit more argumentative as the chat so wants it to be.
Let's do that, and we'll probably end with that. That way we can move on. We do have a couple of religious callers we want to get to as well.
Oh, of course, you want to put them over me. I see how it is.
Hey, we took you first. All right, what do you got?
Anyway, okay. So how about this? One of the things that occurred during that relationship was that I was called a polygamist by my partner. I view that as a slur.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Do you have sister wives?
No, I don't have any sisters, so I don't know how that would work out.
Oh, no. I mean,
I know. I was making a joke.
Are you married to like a bunch of sister wives? Is there just like a what's that movie where they're all wearing the red and the anyway,
that's not polygamy.
Doesn't No. I'm just archaic, weird bullshit. Yeah, no, I think that feels like a slur.
I mean, it's a different word. It's not applicable unless you are actually married to multiple people. Polygamy is marriage to multiple people. And like that is also very religious. Like it has a religious connotation. So if you consider it something that is absolutely not something someone should call you, we'll absolutely respect that.
Yeah.
But yeah, to my understanding, if you say that you are polygamous, like that is an outdated term for a very specific thing and doesn't actually have anything to do with ethical non-monogamy.
No.
So. Right. I think that it comes with a lot of connotations of like oppressive, patriarchal, like, umbrella over a polyamorous relationship, whatever that may be, where only men are allowed to marry multiple, usually very young women who, and then they have absolute control of how that works out. So when I got called that, it was it hurt quite a bit, especially from who it was coming from. I've always kind of taking that further, like putting those connotations upon me felt like, I don't know, almost like being called a I don't know what's a good analogy here.
If you're searching for a slur, we can be generic and let the audience fill one in.
Yeah.
But
I was even looking for a slur. I was more looking for like an ideological, like being called a Stalinist because I believe in
socialist medicine.
Tendencies.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, like all those connotations of that just get piled on top of you.
Yeah, agreed. Hey, Stephen.
Yep.
I wish we had more time, but I do want to make sure we get to some of the other callers.
Sorry for being agreeable again.
Yeah, we don't. We got to find stuff we disagree on. The format requires it.
I'm gonna do some research, and I'll look into both of your backgrounds, and I'll just try to find something.
That's not creepy at all. Thanks, Steve.
Just don't get us. Just don't get us demonetized.
Media, it's not private anymore.
This is fair. All right.
Take care.
All right. Love you both. I'll talk to you next time.
Sounds good. Bye. Yeah. There was one thing I wanted to add, but I know that we need to get into other conversations, so I was just holding it until afterward.
Okay.
And that is, if somebody calls you a slur, say, hey, that's a slur and that's really offensive. If the person doesn't care, they have entirely showed their true colors. You don't need to engage with them because they've shown that they do not care about that. But if somebody calls you something that you take as a slur and you say, hey, that's incredibly offensive, and they listen, then that can be a good place to find more solid ground to move conversations forward.
Yeah.
Yeah. But for people who think, oh, well, I'm embarrassed to say, hey, you know what, that was really, really offensive. Why? Who are you trying to protect? And if you're trying to protect a relationship with someone who doesn't care about your feelings and your well-being, they don't deserve that protection.